Welcome to the Ronni Resonance Podcast, a space for women in transition, becoming, and rebirth. I'm Ronni, an intuitive guide, mentor, and multi-dimensional human learning right alongside you. Here we explore identity shifts, intuition, alignment, purpose, and the deeper truths you've been feeling but maybe haven't said out loud yet. This is where you return to yourself, gently, honestly, and with resonance. Take a breath. You're exactly where you're meant to be.
Hello, and welcome back to the Ronni Resonance Podcast. Today, I really want to talk about something that I didn't even realize that I was doing for most of my life, and that is outsourcing my decisions to everybody else, whether that be my friends, my family, my partners, even social media, like, strangers on the internet, literally anybody except for myself. And I want to ask, have you ever noticed that you'll have a feeling about something? Like deep down, you feel it in your body. But instead of trusting that truly, you immediately start asking other people. You text 3 of your friends, you call your mom, you check Instagram, you Google it, you may do some tarot. You just look for this confirmation. And somehow, everyone else's opinion feels louder than your own. That was me for most of my life. For a very long time, I really thought I was just bad at making decisions. I thought I was indecisive. Maybe I was overthinking all the time. I'm just too emotional. I just told myself that's just my personality. But I finally realized I wasn't bad at deciding. I think I was more so bad at trusting myself. And when I really looked at it, I could see where that started. I grew up being very sensitive, very empathetic, and I also grew up feeling like no matter how hard I tried, I was doing something wrong. I would ask questions and get criticized. I would try to help, and it wouldn't quite be right. So slowly, without realizing it, I learned other people know better than me. Other people are safer to trust than me. And that pattern followed me into adulthood, especially in my business. I went into a business partnership in early 2019 with someone who was older than me, only probably about 8 to 10 years older than me, more confident than me. She was very convincing, I'll say that. She acted like she knew more. Like she had it all figured out. And she wanted control of the finances and that she knew best. And I believed her. I personally gave my power away, all because she sounded sure. Looking back, I saw the red flags from the very beginning, but I did slightly ignore them or maybe even make excuses for them because that's what people pleasers do. We often tell ourselves that we shouldn't be dramatic, don't overthink, don't cause a conflict, just be agreeable. So I pushed past my intuition over and over again in that relationship. Then in 2020, I went to file my taxes and I realized I was paying more in taxes than I made in that entire year. Thousands of dollars. And something in my body literally dropped. I sobbed at the tax office. And something in me said, this isn't right. And even then, I almost didn't listen. I still questioned myself. I still wondered if I was wrong. And this is when I started to see the pattern. This is what outsourcing your authority looks like. You feel something and then you doubt it. And then you ask everybody else. And then you choose the answer that feels safest. Not the truest, but the safest. I also started noticing something else. The people who talk the loudest aren't always the people who know the most. Sometimes they're actually the most insecure, and sometimes they're trying to control and manipulate the narrative. Sometimes they're projecting. But when you're sensitive, like myself, you sometimes mistake volume for wisdom. And I really did that for years. It's like trusting our parents over trusting ourselves, when sometimes we might be right over our parents. But I want to say this really clearly, that this doesn't mean that I was weak. It didn't mean that I was conditioned. What this all meant to me was that I learned that trusting myself wasn't safe. So I learned to survive by adjusting myself. And today, I still believe in intuition. I still believe in signs. You hear me talk about it all the time. But now I just do something different. I check in with my body first. And I ask myself, what do I actually feel? Does this feel true inside of me? Why or why not? I use signs as confirmation, not as a permission. So now I trust myself first. I don't need external validation. I don't need 10 different opinions. I know personally what I am capable of. I know that I'm allowed to learn. I know that failing doesn't mean failing. It also means evolving, learning, growing from these situations and experiences that you're having. If you see this in yourself, if you've been outsourcing your decisions, I need you to know that you're not broken, you're not stupid, you're not behind. You're remembering who you are. So in my extended episode, I go much deeper into this. I literally how I rebuilt myself, trust more specifically, how I healed my nervous system, how I, reparented myself, and these actual exercises that I use or have used through this self-trust journey. So if this resonated with you, that's waiting for you inside the Becoming Sanctuary, which is my private community. You can get started in there by joining for free. I also have a workshop coming up at the end of this month called From Confusion to Clarity, the method that I use to reorient my life. So if you're currently in an identity shift, this is a workshop for you. I highly recommend that you participate in it. You can also find more information on that inside the Becoming Sanctuary. I'm going to drop the link in the comments, or actually in the description below, to the sanctuary, and you're more than welcome to be there. I highly encourage you go and at least check it out. Thank you for being here, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.